Hi, welcome back to Beards of War, boys and girls, ladies and gents, dudes and dudettes. This is Scorched Earth here with Fat Broken Rambo. We're happy to bring you guys back another episode. So today we're going to be covering down on a show called Paradise, Season 2. We're going to be hitting really the 3 episodes that they dropped of the 8 that they plan on dropping this season. So starting out with Graceland is the name of the first episode, Mayday, and last but not least, Another Day in Paradise. Going along with the theme of the show. Looks to be interesting. Bit of a slow lead up, but we will get into that. Looking to dive into that here shortly. So, without further ado, Fat Broken Rambo, over to you, brother.
All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Beards of War. We're trying a little bit of a new structure with the episode, so bear with us as me and Scorched Earth learn to talk when we're supposed to. All right, so he did great, and I'm the one fucking it up. Anyways, we're after the first minute, so I'm cleared hot on cursing. So yeah, man, we're gonna kick off. We're talking about season 2, episodes 1 through 3 of Hulu's Paradise, starring Sterling K. Brown, man, as a Secret Service agent in an underground kind of like under the dome, but in Cheyenne Mountain kind of thing, presidential bunker city thing. If you guys watched season 1, hopefully you have, because if not, we're really going to spoil the show for here talking season 2. So if you guys haven't checked it out, recommend you guys come back to us when you're kind of caught up and current. You want to see what we got to say about it. But so episode 1 and 2, I'm not gonna lie, man, they're kind of a rough, slow start. I'm glad that Hulu was smart enough to drop the first 3 episodes, because had you dropped just the first episode, I think you would have lost a fair amount of your audience, because the entire episode is an introduction of a new character. So we got left on a cliffhanger last season with Xander punching out of the underground city and going to look for going to Atlanta via an aircraft and trying to find his wife. So that was like the big kind of ending. Sinatra got shot in the neck by her like little undercover assassin agent lady who has infiltrated the Secret Service, and Agent Nicole, I forget her last name. Sorry, the names of these characters sometimes evade me. Nicole Robinson takes Xander's kids in and kind of like looks over them. You've got the VP is finally developing, I don't know, a voice box, and doesn't still seems very squeaky. But gosh darn it, he's trying his gosh darn best at being a leader, and it's falling on flat ears. Sinatra's obviously the lady who rules with an iron fist and keeps that place going. But yeah, so instead of addressing any of that shit that happened in season 1, we're gonna be introduced to a new character named Annie. So she is a medical student that dropped out of med school and become just by happenstance becomes a tour guide at Graceland for Elvis Presley's residence. And that's when her and the security guard lady, they're kind of friendly. They're at that location when the event happens that causes pretty much the end of society, the end of the world. And it's just about their relationship. The security guard lady doesn't stick around long enough. She's clearly a red shirt. If you guys are Star Trek fans, you'll figure that out. She's a write-off character. And then as she's building this life of like, by herself inside of Graceland, a crowd of like 5 or 6 dudes shows up, and they're not like your average Walking Dead pillagers. They're decent human beings that are on their way out to Colorado. We kind of learned that later on in the episode. Time goes by. She falls in love with this one guy who she alludes to looks like Charlie Manson, trims down his beard, calls himself Link after Zelda. It's an hour of that. The
Yeah.
group of polite raiders departs the area because they're on the mission, man. They're on the fucking clock. And Annie's not, Link is like, hey, come with me. And Annie is too afraid to like leave, or, doesn't trust the situation. Rightly so. Like, it's the end of the fucking world, man. It's kind of a frustratingly bad situation to be in. Trust shattering, rather. But yeah, that's kind of like the whole episode. And it
Yeah,
just like,
man.
yeah,
It's a
it,
lot of character arc building
for
for
the, for the, for the
people.
premiere.
Yeah, which was odd. And right, and
Yeah.
then you don't see Xavier until, or X
Oh,
as
oh,
people
it is
call him.
Xavier. I keep calling him Xander for some reason.
Xanadu, like it doesn't even really matter. So anything with an X in it, I guess, at this point. Right. We don't see him until the the last 10 seconds of the first episode. Nothing was about an hour,
I didn't
15
even
minutes.
think that we saw him. I thought he didn't show up till the next episode.
Yeah, no, no, I thought he was laid out beside the aircraft, I think. And we didn't know what
Yeah, because
nose
he
what.
crashes like, nose down, no,
Yeah, in
nose
the
up.
trees.
And then, yeah, so he's got to get out, fucks his knee up and all that stuff. I tell it was in episode two.
I
Like,
don't know. There's so much back and forth, and and flashbacks and storytelling, that's back in time and then jumping forward. That yeah, it's easy to mix up some of the stuff. I could be easily mixed up on it, but it was a little disappointing, right? The main guy of the show, and you don't see him really at all, and they're building these characters' backstories. I'm hoping it's going to be worth it. I'm hoping they're going to play major roles in the next, 5 episodes or so, because what's the point in building them out so much? I will say there are some interesting connections that seem to be growing between some of the characters. So Link and X, there seems to be there's something there, right? Because there's Link, X is having flashbacks that kind of involve him having, I don't know, almost kind of an out of body experience and remembering things, but he doesn't know. He's seeing visions, what might be the past or the future. I don't know, but it essentially ends up being the back of um, Link's head as they're walking down some corridor that's got light at the end. And you really can't tell what's going on, and they're constantly trying to keep you from seeing Link's face, but you can really kind of make him out early on in those flashbacks. But the real connection is both of them seem to be having those same episodes. So I think the
yeah, the
first time we
nosebleeds.
yeah, well, the yes, the nosebleeds, but kind of the like grabbing their face, and then you see the like the fuzzy, almost blurry, like there's something's going on with their mind and their
It's the
eyesight.
Havana syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. They're being zapped with all these rays, and I think the first time we see it with Link, right, is when he's sitting down in Graceland, and they're kind of him and the older guy in their group are going over the map, and like, all right, we're gonna take this path, and we got to go here, and he's starting to lose his attention, dealing, the pain in his hand because he messed up his thumb, and he's kind of grabbing his face, and he's having that kind of a blurry vision thing, and then he has it again when he asks Annie to go with him. He's knocking on the door, and he almost kind of passes out, and the guy helps him. So it seems that they're having very similar, problems. And then there's another character who's an assassin for Sinatra who has a similar problem with a
Driscoll.
nosebleed. Driscoll,
Yeah.
yes. So I think there's something there, but I'm hoping they can kind of tease this out, because you're right, man. The first episode, second episode was just a lot of like slow burn, building
Yeah, we haven't even started talking
characters.
about the second episode yet.
Yeah, and you're just like, all right. I mean, it's not horrible, but come on, let's
it
snap to it.
you just expanded this entire universe significantly, and I'd argue, okay, I still think Fallout Season 2 did a better job of expanding like gradually. Like I was kind of still waiting for that big set action piece or action set piece, but I think we'll get that in Season 3. I respected what they did in Fallout. Not having seen the whole Paradise Season 2,
Yeah,
I'm trying not to cast judgment, but like it seemed like a weird choice, man, from a story perspective to start with that episode. And then episode two, we start with Xander is or Jesus, Xavier.
you
I
call him
keep fucking
Xander.
it.
You're
Xander.
Xander now, man. Just
Yeah.
you were
Welcome to the
Xander.
Triple X program. Um, the Vin Diesel movie, not the adult stuff.
Oh,
Um, anyways, yeah, so we start with him in the aircraft. He gets down, fucks his knee completely up, and then he's got like this Lord of the Flies gang of kids that basically like scoop him up, and they realize he's not a threat, so they drag him in there. He reads them a story time book. They all fall asleep. Someone's stalking them, and of course, our guy goes out with his little homemade crutch out of this abandoned boat where all the kids are kind of held up, and he's healing from his knee. He's trying to set the knee, but he can't because there's noise outside. So noise and light discipline. Then he goes outside, and apparently this old creep is like, "Yeah, I've been watching the kids, blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you just go ahead and kill him right off the bat. Just do that right there," and he does.
yeah.
So, but yeah, man, Xavier takes like a K bar to the lower right hand side quadrant of his abdomen. So between that and his recently reset knee, man, he's just having a shit day. And we found out that he crashes pretty much in Tennessee because at some point, later on in the episode, he's going to link up with Annie. So like I'm assuming they're in the general vicinity of one another. But yeah, and then the entire episode from there is basically like him with the kids, and then the kids like he passes out. They dress his wound because he saved them. They do this weird thing where they bury the body in the mud. I mean, like it's the end of the world, man. Do you have to hide the body? Like, unless they're worried about his gang, right? Like maybe the guy wasn't a singleton. Maybe he had a crew.
Right, true.
Um,
He might have been a part of the group that was coming with torches when the kid first ran
yeah,
into him,
yeah.
and it was still in his bag, and he's told him to be quiet because he didn't say why, but he's like points. He asks who they were, and he just kind of low curls off, and that's where he gets the stick crutch from the kid. And with regards to the crash, though, they're definitely close because if you recall, Annie was up on the roof looking through her telescope and because she heard a sound and she looked and she saw where the plane went down. So it was within
Oh,
it was
sorry, I must have forgot that part.
yeah, it
TVI's
was
guys, sorry.
across the river there.
Okay.
Just I want to say I don't know the cardinal directions on the but as you look at it, it would have been to the left or the west if you just slapped a north south on it.
It makes
Um,
sense. He's coming from that direction, so
and it was well, essentially west of where Link originally pointed out to her, you see that patch over there? That's where things are bad, and where she saw some people kind of at the beginning fighting and trying to take supplies from one another on the streets. When the lady was still alive in the first episode, they were
hmm.
kind of looking to see what's going on. So she just hopped on the horse and went down to go figure out, find out what's going on because she thought it was Link coming back for her because she looked at
Yeah.
the map and she's like, "I'll be back." So she's thinking, "Okay, maybe it's Link. Let me go down there." And that's when she rolls up on him, puts him on the back of the horse. And he's kind of dazed and confused. Obviously, he should be a little bit since he's been stabbed, beaten up pretty bad, broken.
Yeah, and the kids
Uh,
took all of his shit. That was the thing. He
oh
wakes up to
yeah,
just a photo of his kids on the table, and they took all of his stuff, and they're like, "Sorry, you little bastards."
yeah.
Um,
Sorry, and ashes on the table.
so I do
Like
think that
yeah,
they're going to have to come back around to that storyline
yeah,
because you don't tell me you wasted at least a half an hour of an episode talking about dealing with these kids and then gank your shit, and there's not a reason to find them, right? You're going to cross paths to get your shit back. There's going to be some MacGuffin in his bag that allows him to be like early warning system back to Sinatra or some goofy shit to talk to his wife, something I don't know. But yeah, she scoops him up and basically takes him hostage and be like, "Hey, like, oh, we're not going to Atlanta. We're going back to Colorado because he is like, I think through his like haze, he's kind of been talking about where he's from and shit and confirming
yeah,
details that she's heard. She's like, "Oh fuck no, man, I'm going to get Link." So Princess
yeah.
Zelda
She
is now horseback and she's punching West, and then this poor bastard can't catch
Princess
a
Zelda.
break. He's like, she's gonna make this guy go all the way back to the beginning of the race, and then now, like, cool, here's the fucking bunker, man. Now I'm gonna go back to Atlanta again. Like,
Oh
they
yeah,
they
yeah. He
they
was.
they took a lot of swings in this episode for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they're gonna get a walk, right? They're gonna get a walk the first, and then
Yeah,
hopefully we can get them around the bases.
I thought episode three balanced out my grievances with the first two. Episode three had so much shit going on, it's hard to keep track. So wow,
Oh
and we
yeah,
haven't even talked about the kids back in uh, Xavier's kids back in
in the
with Agent
mountain.
Nicole, right? And so like the daughter is passing notes through like her brother in like this little fucking mailbox bookshelf thing
Yeah, those
back to the
like
president's daughter or
repositories on the side.
president's son or the ex-president's son
Yep.
who started up his own little resistance. The new VP is pushing hard on like enforcement, brutality from the guards, and then we'll talk the spoiler. Sorry, the spoiler at the end of the episode because I don't want to give that away just yet. But that aspect is looking pretty interesting. So like you got the Napoleon complex, VP taking over the presidency. Like no one's really taking him seriously. He's like, oh, you know what people miss down here? Summer. Be like,
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
was
need
gonna
to
say
turn
the
the
natural
freaking
sun,
power
but
up.
okay, yeah. I mean summer. That sound. And the dude, the fucking creator of the facility is like, are you like he's just having that like senior E7 E8 moment where like his officer just said the dumbest shit to him possible. And he's like, motherfucker, are you stupid? Um,
Yeah, we're already stretching the power reserves. Are you serious right now? And then
yeah,
get into a whole diatribe about it's supposed to have 30 years of power and somebody must be siphoning and there's
weird.
more to that siphoning story. And yeah, the president definitely, or the one that's in the presidency right now, bit
For
of
the
a
rest of the
shallow.
episode.
What's that?
For the rest of the episode.
Oh yeah. Well, and to be honest, even back in season one, he was that way, right? He was kind of a shallow guy, and then
Yeah,
he
he's weak.
he ended up in office. But he kind of gets his, in a very unfortunate manner. I will say, and this is anecdotal for those out there who know, but this show kind of reminds me, the way it is a little bit, kind of reminds me of a video game called Arc Raiders, where you got the surface and you got the people below because of the way that everybody's running around scrounging resources, and
He
you
loves this
got.
game.
Oh, yeah, well, I do like the game. By the way, if you guys haven't gotten the game, you've been living on a rock. But I digress. But it just reminded me of it because I recently played it, and I'm like, yeah, this is like a bad version of Arc Raiders. But anyway, so the assassin girl, right? She's the one that killed. Was he an agent? Well, he eventually became an agent, right? Billy, I think it was.
So her and Billy had a relationship.
Yeah, from season one.
Yep.
She
And she's the
happens
one
to
that poisoned
be.
him.
Yep. Yeah, she happens to be where all these, let's say, important characters in the show to a degree end up dying, and nobody seems to be putting that together except Robinson. She got a little suspicious, went to go check out their house because she was supposed to be the assassin was supposed to be engaged to Billy, and she, in her reports when she's questioned about what happened, how did he die, she's leaving all these little breadcrumbs of things that just don't make sense. And like, oh, he's
Yeah, like
always
she
had
found the
breathing
wedding ring,
problems, and yep, she found the wedding ring or the
engagement ring. Sorry.
engagement ring,
Yep.
and just a lot of weird things happening. She looks into her files, sees everything's redacted, everything. She it looked like she failed out of something or left the agency, the CIA for some reason, and now she's doing this. And where did she kind of come from? But one key thing. So I'm going to talk about her and then the other assassin. What was the name again? The
Billy.
Bill. Was it Billy? Was the assassin? No,
Billy
no,
was
no.
the Billy is the assassin she kills. Who becomes the Secret Service agent in the
No, so there's the assassin that works for Sinatra because she was trying to get that land and she couldn't get the land. So the president's
that's
dad,
Billy.
that's no, that's not the one that got killed, was it?
That's
See,
him in
we're
a
jumping
flashback.
back. Oh, that's right, because they went back in time.
Yep. You remember
So
they gave him the
so
beanie and he's got long hair in
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
he had the beanie. He's actually on the thumbnail. So there you go, Billy.
Yep.
Sorry, man. So
PIs, man.
yeah. So
There's
it's
a lot
funny
of
because
plot going on in episode 3, man.
so
Like,
there's so much. And so when Sinatra talks to Billy after he did the assassination for her, she asked like, "Hey, so if I need your services again in the future, what do I need to do?" And he basically said, "Look, all I need is a picture and a name, and I'm good to go." And oh yeah, by the way, you just need to say. He didn't say who you had to say it to, but he said you just need to say, a breath mint or something. But
yeah,
breath mint was in
that
it.
person needs a breath mint.
Yeah, and so you fast forward to Sinatra comes out of her coma, and the new president guy is like, I gotta find out. She's got to have something to do with siphoning off all this power I want to use for summer, and drags her from the hospital into the booth, and they're interrogating her, and she's kind of
Such a
pushing
gifted
back on it.
interrogator he was, too.
Oh yeah, dude, chef's kiss, chef's
Oh, yeah,
kiss,
perfection.
and
He
he
just had
comes
shit at
in the
skill level
room,
10.
and he comes in the room and he's yelling at her, yada yada yada, close up or whatever, and he leaves. She's basically saying, "Hey, I need some rest." And as he walks out, she looks at her assassin girl and says, "Yeah, that guy needs a breath mint." And then she gives her that kind of a quirky smile and walks out. Fast forward a little more. Well, she's sweet talking the president, and he's kind of pissed about having to take so many agents out on a run. She volunteers to go out on a night run with him, and why they are just letting him run with her by themselves, and she's kind of a junior agent. Sure enough, she waits until he bends down to take a break and tie his laces, slits his throat, uses the blood on and his own blood, and does an X on his back, which is kind of the symbol for the
The
president
resistance.
kids resistance group,
Yeah.
right? To kind of throw it on them. And then she looked at her GPS for all the agents, saw Robinson coming because I think she had an idea. Robinson
Well,
was
because
looking
Robinson
into
put it
her.
on the group thread and be like, "Where's Driscoll?" Be like, "Oh man,
Yeah,
what kind of
yeah.
fucking
I
dumb
need
shit
a fix on her.
mentality is that?" Like, no, you don't. Like,
Yeah,
hit him with the
in the
noise.
group chat, and shows up, and somehow she chokes in in the middle of an intersection. At night, chokes
Yeah,
Robinson out, puts the knife in her hand, gets the prints, calls it in. Like, yeah, whatever his call sign is, he's down, and Robinson did it. Here we are again with her being at the scene of people dying, and it
Yeah,
doesn't look suspicious
the
at all.
point though is that most of the people that are in the immediate area that are going to look at that, they're not even going to see it, man, because Xavier's the one that knows that she's dirty. Sinatra needs her, so she's going to protect her. The
Oh, of course.
VP term Prez is now out of the picture, so Sinatra's easily going to take power back over. The interesting aspect I did like was the psychiatrist, right? When they were doing the time in the booth,
Yeah.
she's doing most of the interrogation work, not and the president is just not having that shit, and he just fucks that all up. And but seeing her she shows back up at Sinatra's house. Like you almost wondered like Sinatra's like changed her tone after eating a shot to the neck. No, she hasn't. She's just buying her time, fucking putting people to sleep like a professional would, and like, wow, I'm gonna strike like a spider monkey. Um, so yeah, man. So the site comes over and Sinatra actually looks like you think that she might actually be trying to mend that broken fence. And I don't get that impression at all. I think she's playing the field to see like what advantages she can pull from her old friend. And man, Doc's fucking slippery, man. I don't know how people are just still generating like listening devices in this environment, but hey, man, she got her hands on one, slipped into the frame, had a reason to give it to her. Nice little story, put Sinatra to sleep. She's not thinking about it from that perspective. And lo and behold, man, she's an eavesdropping motherfucker now. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
find out that Sinatra is like, I wouldn't call her a maid, but like, I don't know, maybe a maid, is also part of her like little inner network of informants and stuff like that. So, but the psych is like listening to all of this information flowing through her eardrums, man. So,
Yeah, I
ah,
think she's kind of like a nanny slash maid, like an old, and not an au pair, but yeah, a
yeah,
nanny slash maid. But
yeah,
she's actually, her
part of her network.
confidant. Yeah, she's part of the network, and that's how the doc, hears through the listening device whatever she
Yep.
planted in that picture. It was like, oh yeah, so what's the status of X, Y, and Z relative to the siphoning of power? They didn't get into it a lot, but you get the clue that all right, she really is into something with regards to taking power from that underground facility. And they were I don't know if it's after, but the president's son was supposed to meet up because you were talking about the passing of notes
Yeah,
with
the
the
only thing
daughter.
before we like launch into that though, we
Okay,
should
yeah,
really
yeah.
talk about shit, what was the point? The flashback sequence with Billy, his target, right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I think it's actually a pretty good like little storyline. It's you don't necessarily need it, but like it's going to develop into something. So like completing the circle of why characters matter, right? So the target Sinatra sends Billy after in the past timeline, and there's multiple past timelines, so we're not sure like how far back this one goes. But during development of the underground city, there's a piece of like software or a company that she needs that's refusing to sell. Billy is sent in to basically like get him to sign or kill him, right? And what it boils down to is this guy, his wife is slowly dying a horrible fucking death. He doesn't want her to suffer. He knows he's probably gonna get clipped, so he gives her a nice he helps her to the other side, as
Yeah, what she
respectfully as
have?
I'll put it. Huntington,
Huntington's
yeah, it looks
disease.
horrible,
Yeah,
man. Like that,
yeah.
it was a hard scene to watch. Acted really well though. But what's interesting is the owner of the company said he partnered with a genius younger kid, one of his former students. They went into business. They set this business up. He's like, I will sign the business over to you. He's like, if you promise to like let this kid let him go. And that's the big tell, right? So that kid is Link.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, he clips the older owner, does his thing, hands off the paperwork to Sinatra, but like we see that that is Link. I think closer to the end of the episode. But yeah, then we get
Yeah.
the big ending is with the president's son or the ex-president's son.
So well, there is one piece in that too. So
Did I
when
miss
he's
something? Okay.
about to assassinate him in at the house because he didn't want, he said he would sign, and it looked like he signed the paper, but he didn't. He wrote down his address. So
Yeah,
the guy
it's
looked
good.
at me. Billy looked at us like, and he had already walked out of the bar. So he shows up at his address. He kind of goes through, oh yeah, my wife's got the disease, and we would go on these trips and yada yada yada. We'll see each other, and so he helps her in an assisted thing, and then tells him, hey, if you just let him go, you can do what you got to do and just send me on my way. And before he did that, he grabbed a tissue and handed it to Billy. He says, you're going to
Oh,
need
that's
this.
right. That's
And
right. You're
Billy
gonna
was
need
looking
this.
at him like, what? a single tissue or whatever. So he does it, and then he leaves, and that's when he runs into Link coming into the house and basically says, "You know what? This is luckiest day of your life. I'm gonna let you go. Run far away, never come back. They're already gone." But his nose started bleeding when he walked out of the room.
Yep. You
It
can see it
didn't
trickling on
start
his
while he
mustache.
was in there. So, and I think he has that. His nose wasn't bleeding when he was in there. So the guy
Hmm.
who he assassinated knew that that was gonna happen. So because remember, he said he kept saying, "You like, you ever think that things were meant to be? Like you were meant to be here." And he
Yeah.
was like, "It's much bigger." So I think he knew something about him. Maybe they were a part of some experiment. I don't know, but his nose didn't start bleeding until Billy started talking to Link. Then it
So
started to bleed.
do you think at this point Link still has the same condition, or do you think he develops it in the current timeline?
I mean, so if I was to go out on a limb, I'm gonna say I think Link. You're talking. You said Link, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Link had it then. I think it might have been something to do with whatever it is that they were working on together as his little protege, and that started. And Billy just didn't know that he was mixed up in it somehow because I think the guy maybe didn't know who he was, but had an idea that he
Interesting.
may have been connected to it. But because how would he know unless there's like all
Yeah.
right seen into the future? How would he know he's going to need the tissue? Because his nose did not start bleeding until he walked out of the room, and within the first few seconds, talking to Link because he noticed it. He's like, and then he started talking some more, told him about Runaway, luckiest day of your life. So I think there's that trifecta of connection between him, uh, Link, and X with regards to their symptoms and maybe what's causing that. But I'm interested to see what happens with it. So I haven't given up on the show by no means.
No, I haven't
It was
either.
a little
Well,
slow, but
yeah.
it's starting to pick up that traction.
And a lot too, man. Like I said, I think this episode did like the work of all three episodes to just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
your excitement back up. So yeah, so we're gonna get to the ending. We'll talk about the kind of the takeaway leading forward in next week's episode. Yeah, man. So the president's kid or the ex-president's kid, James Marsden's son in the show, has pretty much been on the run since the end of the first season. So he's building his like little resistance, vandalizing, spreading the message, anti-government kind of thing. And what's interesting is he's supposed to link up with Xavier's daughter, right? They finally they're gonna link up the edge of the world. The brother tried to throw the note away in order to prevent her from getting caught up in this kind of thing because people are getting disappeared. And what's interesting is like at like an hour into it, like once the sister has figured it out and the brother finally tells her, she shows up, and just as she's around the corner, the president's son decides to turn himself into the authorities. They snatch his ass up, and he immediately goes down, man, and goes down and goes down an elevator and keeps going fucking down. So we realized that if I did my count correctly, there's 5 levels. The prison is on the darkest level. So the doors open, the dude's thrown through a gate, chain link fence, lock the gate, and there's the creator of the facility. And the kid tries to give like his best leadership motivational speech or something like that. He's like, it's kind of like the
Whoa.
ending of the new Red Dawn. If you guys have never seen that, there's scenes in that movie where I'm like, man, that's kind of a gutsy move. I liked it. The ending completely shits on the film though, because like that character just can't act tough to save his life. So if he's about to like get in there and like form his resistance, I don't know. Like, yeah, that sounds cool, but we'll see, man. Well, he doesn't exactly inspire confidence, but I think connected with the creator of that place, I think they're going to be able to
Oh
fuck
yeah.
that joint up. What I'm curious about is like, what are the 3 levels between?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you would see a level, then you see dirt, then you see a
And
level, then dirt, then a
right.
level, then dirt.
So and here's my
So
question to you: Do you think that do you think the prison is part of the plan for the 30% for the energy, or do you think that's still another Sinatra project on the side?
good question. I think in my estimation, I think the prison was a part of the build from the beginning, so that if they just had problem people, you know what I mean? Like, hey, look,
Sure.
we're gonna stick people down there. Maybe not. They might try and weave it in some way. I'm thinking one of those levels in between. There's going to be experiments and other things going on. Maybe that
Oh,
30%'s been siphoned off to kind of feed whatever project she's got going on, because she obviously knows him, the guy who created the place.
yeah.
Her, maybe the son, know quite a bit because he looked through his dad's files, and when he ran into that guy, and found out he was the one that created the whole place. It was like, yeah, good. You know that speech. You're like, yeah, that's good because you're gonna help me blow the lid off of this place. I'm kind of like, all right, well, the lid off the. They probably
Come
could have
down there,
came up with
spark
something
plug. You
better.
know,
Yeah, it's like yeah, good luck getting out of the bottom of NORAD, but okay. I mean, they'll find a way. Um,
guys need fucking Santa Claus. Um, flies by NORAD all the time. Um, I am interested to see though is that Sinatra doesn't know that the creator is down there, like because it's the old
no,
or
because it
the
happened.
recently deceased president. Um, he was the one that put him in there. So like
Yeah,
I'm
it
curious to
happened
see if
right
she's
before.
gonna have to extract a couple of people from in there. I think she's gonna use people as leverage, of course, because Sinatra's a complex villain in my opinion. So I think she's always got master plans and devious shit going up her sleeve. I'm also kind of curious if she's got like an R&D lab where they're trying to figure out a solution for the weather up top so they can kind of like come back out of the town. I don't think long term that you can sustain that city underground like that.
Yeah, and the weather conditions up there are crazy, fluctuating. And I forget who it was. It was the guy who looked like the lead singer from Foo Fighters, from the flashback that she originally talked to. Bought a whole bottle of whiskey, like a $1,500 bottle
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
whiskey.
He's like the science at the end of the conspiracy theorist scientist that was actually right about everything.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And he talked about, hey, you know what? It's going to happen. You know, this large event's going to happen, explosions, volcano, blah blah blah, and then it's going to be darkness for a while, and then the sun's going to come back out, and people are going to think, okay, we survived it, but then it gets worse, and the pressure and all this. So you look at those weather conditions that are constantly. They got hailstorms out of nowhere. There's snap hailstorms. They got sun, right? Old girl Annie came out and it was Graceland, and she was basically doing exactly what he said, like looking at the sun. She's super happy, growing plants and whatever. So there's going to be a lot more going on with the world. So it could be that. It could be she's trying to figure out how can we fix what's going on up with there because she knows from that original talk with him, and whatever other devious plans she's got,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going in the right direction though, man. Like the first two, like Archibald's in the comments talking to us. I 100% agree. Those first two episodes could have been condensed significantly. I think you still could have covered the same ground from a narrative standpoint easily. But yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much what I got. I'm excited for the next episode. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. Don't mess it up. Don't go in reverse, man. Don't slow the train.
for the love of God, can you at least calm down or throw dates? I'm good with a year, man. For your flashback purposes specifically, just throw the fucking year up, man. Like keep us all online because like there are multiple past timelines, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm looking at like Billy. I'm like, he's got long hair here, so this is before this. And I'm just like, throw the date up, man. Just make it easy for us. We're old,
Yeah, exactly. We need numbers and
right?
shiny things.
Crayons, lots of crayons. All right, man. Well, that's what I got for tonight. So it's been a pleasure. I know Scorched Earth and I have been off for a while Captain Jack and Nick cover everything Game of Thrones related. I gave up on that shit after the finale of the original OG show. I'm happy it's good for fans, man. I'm excited for you guys. I'm just not gonna watch 8 hours of Dragons again.
Yeah, you guys come out and watch that. I won't be there with you, but I will be in spirit. But come out and watch it, man. So, as we try to say every once in a while, like, subscribe, notification bell, send it to your friends, grandparents. They'll probably dig it. Maybe not. Um, Whoever, just mass email it out and put it on your MySpace.
Hell yeah,
So,
MySpace.
without further ado, yet again, this is Scorched Earth, FBR, and we are out of here. Bitters of War.
Later,
Later.
guys.